The humid night air of North Florida has a way of swallowing sound. It's a heavy, stagnant atmosphere that clings to the pine needles and the moss-draped oaks of Alachua County. For most people, a drive into Gainesville is just a trip to a college town, a place of bright stadium lights and bustling hospitals. But there is a different Gainesville, one that exists in the acoustic shadows of the highway, overpasses, and the dense, unmapped thickets that flank the interstate. This is the story of a night in the Southwest Business District that defied the laws of physics, a night where the world split in two, and a group of 8 friends realized that sometimes the most terrifying thing isn't what you see, but what only you can hear. The journey began around 9 p.m. It was meant to be an escape, a simple, restless excursion for a group of 8 young adults looking for a night away from home. There was the narrator, joined by 4 girls, Kylie, Leslie, Sarah, and Maria, and 3 guys, Noah, Alex, and Sammy. They were headed for Gainesville, a city built on the juxtaposition of high-level academia and a dark, swampy history. It's a place where the lights of a world-class hospital system are visible from the same wooded thickets where legendary predators and serial killers have sought refuge. The group arrived just as the clock was nearing midnight. The transition from the high-speed blur of Interstate 75 to the city streets was marked by the looming presence of the Archer Road overpass, a concrete skeleton that serves as a gateway to the Southwest Business District. Their first stop was a local basketball court for photos. In Gainesville, these courts hold a unique place in the local culture, often seen as symbols of community safety. But as the photography session concluded and the group moved toward their overnight accommodations, that sense of safety began to evaporate. The hotel was a nice structure, roughly 7 to 8 stories tall, situated near a highway overpass, and a small Wawa convenience store that had recently opened in June 2020. Geographic profiling points to a specific cluster of modern hotels on Southwest 42nd Boulevard, such as the Residence Inn or the Staybridge Suites. To the casual observer, it was just another commercial intersection, but adjacent to this intersection was a forest-type landscape, a wall of trees that seemed to press up against the edges of the parking lot. After checking in, the group returned to the parking lot to smoke and talk, and everyone was drinking except for the narrator, who remained sober, serving as a critical, clear-headed witness for the sensory data that was about to emerge. It was in this mundane setting, under the orange hum of the parking lot lights, that the atmosphere shifted. The first sign wasn't a sound, it was a behavior. Leslie, one of the girls in the group, suddenly became gripped by an acute, visible dread. She began walking at a fast pace away from the group, a flight response that the others dismissed as tripping or playing around. But the narrator followed her, moving behind the protection of 2 parked cars. Leslie wasn't playing. She was on the verge of tears, her body vibrating with a terror she couldn't name. So she looked into the darkness of the trees and whispered a phrase that would haunt the survivors. "It's coming." This precognitive dread is a documented phenomenon. In the study of infrasound, vibrations below the 20 Hz threshold of human hearing, subjects frequently report an overwhelming sense of presence, extreme anxiety, and a sinking feeling in the chest. Infrasound can be generated by heavy traffic on a bridge or massive industrial fans, and at a frequency of approximately 19 Hz, it is known to induce a feeling of being watched by something malevolent. As the narrator tried to calm her, Leslie said it again, more urgently. "It's coming, bro." Not even a few seconds later, it happened. A deafening scream tore through the night. It was a sound that defied categorization. It wasn't human, and it didn't sound like any animal known to the region. The narrator described it as a blood-curdling screech that felt as though it was happening right in their ear. It was a sound that seemed to bypass the eardrums and strike directly at the heart. The narrator jogged back to the rest of the group, expecting to see them in a state of panic, but they weren't. They were completely unfazed. When asked if they heard the scream, they looked at the narrator and Leslie as if they were crazy. They had heard absolutely nothing. Even the front desk staff inside the hotel, where the sound should have been audible through the glass, claimed the night was perfectly silent. How can a sound be deafening to 2 people and non-existent to 5 others standing only yards away? To find the answer, we have to look into the world of tactical acoustics. Modern law enforcement and military units utilize a technology known as the long-range acoustic device, or LRAD. This is a parametric array that uses ultrasonic waves to project sound in a highly focused directional beam. An operator can target a specific person or a small area with high decibel audio that is virtually silent to anyone standing just a few feet outside the path of the beam. Victims of these transmissions often describe the sound as originating inside the head or having no directional orientation, the exact sensation of a scream being directly in the ear. If a tactical unit was operating in the wooded area adjacent to the hotel, they may have deployed a directional acoustic device as a deterrent. By moving 2 cars away from the group, the narrator and Leslie likely stepped into the path of an invisible acoustic beam while their friends remained in a quiet zone. But why was a tactical unit there at all? The mystery deepened when the narrator and Leslie retreated to their hotel room. Glancing out the window toward the source of the scream, the woods near the highway, they saw a fleet of police vehicles and SWAT teams moving into position. Most chillingly, these vehicles were operating with no sirens and no lights. They were ghosts in the dark. This is a standard tactical protocol known as a silent approach. In high-stakes operations involving armed suspects, law enforcement prioritizes stealth to avoid a violent escalation. Documented SWAT operations in the Archer Road area have involved the evacuation of businesses like Wawa and Walmart, while keeping the public largely in the dark to maintain control of the scene. The silence of the hotel staff and the lack of lights on the police vehicles weren't signs of a lack of activity. They were indicators of an operation so critical that the public was never supposed to know it was happening. But there is a darker layer to this story, one that the people of Gainesville carry in their bones. To understand why a scream in these woods carries so much weight, you have to look back to the summer of 1990. The city was paralyzed by the Gainesville Ripper, Danny Rolling, a drifter who murdered 5 college students in a matter of days. Rolling was a master of the wooded approach. He lived in a campsite hidden in the trees near student apartments, moving like a predator through the very same types of forest landscapes the group saw that night. Rolling's crimes were characterized by a chilling silence. He often taped the mouths of his victims to stifle their screams. The legacy of these murders created an indelible mark on the city's collective memory, a permanent sense of vulnerability that has been passed down through generations. When Leslie said, "It's coming," she may have been tapping into a primal, localized fear. The knowledge that in Gainesville, the woods have a history of harboring things that belong in nightmares. Yet, we cannot ignore the regional folklore. Florida is home to the skunk ape, a bipedal cryptid reported in Alachua County for decades. These creatures are known for their foul odor and, more importantly, their deafening vocalizations, screams that witnesses describe as being neither human nor animal, often compared to the sound of a woman being murdered. Reports from the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization in Florida describe these vocalizations as blood-curdling and capable of inducing the exact type of heart-dropping dread Leslie experienced. Was the thing in the woods a biological predator unrecognized by science? Or was it a suspect so dangerous that the SWAT team was forced to use experimental acoustic deterrents to contain them? The most haunting part of the Archer Road incident isn't the scream itself, but the isolation that followed. The narrator and Leslie were left speechless, forced to live in a reality that no one else acknowledged. The other girls accused them of tripping. The front desk staff treated them like they were on drugs. This social denial is a common side effect of directional sound technology, which can be misused to simulate hallucinations in targets by isolating audio to a single individual. Whether it was a tactical operation, a restless cryptid, or a ghost of the city's violent past, the results were the same: a fragmentation of reality. The group drifted apart. The narrator hasn't spoken to them since that night. It serves as a final, silent testament to the moment the world split in two. Until this day, the answer remains hidden in the forest-type landscape near the I-75 bridge. The narrator is still considering reaching out to Leslie to ask what she remembers, to see if she still feels the weight of whatever was coming for them in the dark. The lesson of Archer Road is one of sensory humility. We believe that we hear and see everything around us, but in the modern world of directional energy and tactical silence, you may be standing right next to someone who is experiencing a nightmare nightmare you are completely blind to. And in the woods of Gainesville, sometimes the only thing louder than a scream is the silence that follows it.